Merry Christmas, everybody. This is Chris Lundy from the Sawtooth Avalanche Center, and I am here today with the next installment of our weekend update. This is a new product that we're doing. We're doing them on Fridays. Ben did the first one last Friday, and I have the honor of doing the Christmas weekend update. The idea with this product is to give you some idea, like just a kind of a summary of what happened over the course of the week and what you can expect for the upcoming weekend. And of course, this is no substitute for actually checking the avalanche forecast every day before you head out in the field. You can get that at www.sawtoothavalanche.com. So we're just gonna start this weekend update with just a quick recap of kind of what's happened to this point in the winter. So this will be a little bit of a review with what Ben talked about last week. So as most of you know that live locally here, we had a 3+ week dry spell, which led to extremely weak faceted snow surfaces. So on November 20th, this is how our watershed looked. We were well above average for snow water equivalent on the ground, and everybody was saying, yeah, La Nina, this is going to be the winter to remember. And then, of course, maybe we jinxed it, but nearly 3 weeks later, we were well below average after that prolonged dry spell. But on December 11th is when the snowfalls finally returned after that 3-week dry spell. But as we all know, that cold, clear weather, the dry weather, it almost always produces some kind of weak layer. In this case, it produced one that was extremely bad. The surface just consisted of well-developed, super sugary facets. So the week of December 11th through the 17th, we started getting some snowfall again. And we didn't get a ton, 6 to 12 inches of new snow came out of that during that period. And even though it wasn't a lot of snow, we did get quite a few avalanches, especially considering how small that load was. And so we had a lot of just small kind of road cut avalanches like this, breaking 8, maybe 10 inches thick. As you headed further north and west into our Sawtooth and Western Smoky zones and Banner Summit zones where more snow fell, those avalanches were bigger and more widespread. So heading into last weekend, I got a few photos here to show you what we were looking at. This is on Galena Summit on Titus Ridge. We have a 10-inch thick slab, and I have slab here in quotes because this is, even though it's just barely cohesive enough, we got a propagating result in this extended column test. It is really just, just fluff. It's basically powder. So not really behaving like a slab as of yet. The previous day on Banner Summit, you can see the slab depth here is, about the similar depth, 10 to 12 inches, just a little bit more cohesive and behaving just a bit more like a slab. And then heading into the weekend, the forecast for Sunday, December 20th, so just almost a week ago, said, well, there's still not enough load on the weak layer to cause widespread instability. We're getting precariously close to the brink. So that was the forecast on the eve of the next big storm cycle that we got, and that's what would be kind of the focus of this update. So December 20th through the 22nd, we had a warm, wet, and windy storm. So got some snow totals here. Kind of the big winner in this storm was the Western Smokies, the Sawtooth, and the Banner Summit. These areas all got an inch or more of snow water equivalent. Really hard to measure that storm in in inches of snow since it was so warm. There was rapid settlement. Rain occurred almost to the mountaintops. So snow water equivalent is sort of a better measure of the precip that we got out of that storm. Galena Summit got about 5/10 to 8/10 of an inch of precip, and then heading south and west, or mostly south, got quite a bit less snowfall during that storm. So you can imagine just thinking about the slides I just showed you, how that snowpack is going to react to this loading, especially in those areas that got more snow. Okay, so I'm coming back to a video that I shot just about a week ago on Banner Summit, and we saw a photo of this just a little bit ago, but I'm going to go ahead and play a video and then fast forward to what this looks like after the storm. So this is a bit of a before and after that December 20th through the 22nd storm. So you can see got a bit of a slab here, and just beneath it is just really, really sugary, weak snow from that prolonged dry spell. So let's fast forward 4 days. Now we're on December 22nd and on Banner Summit. And now that storm's happened, and let's take a look at what we have after the storm. So we have a slab now that's about 2 feet thick instead of 1 foot. The slab is much more consolidated, pretty strong snow. The snow below it has not changed much. Still very weak, sugary, faceted snow. So now we have a pretty healthy, meaty slab on top of very, very weak, sugary snow. So as a result of that December 20th through the 22nd storm, we had quite a bit of avalanche activity. This is the north side of Copper. You can see crowns all along here. Likely had some crowns up in here as well that probably blew in due to snow. This is just south of Copper Mountain. You can see a bunch of different crowns here. These are all breaking about 1.5 feet to nearly 2 feet deep. Kind of working our way south in the mountains here. This is down the ridge from Copper. So these are breaking again 1.5 to 2 feet deep, and showing some pretty good propagation, breaking hundreds of feet wide. Starting to get into the transition into the Sawtooth Mountains. This one broke several hundred feet wide, as you can see, and some wind-loaded terrain. Now we're in the Sawtooths, just outside of Stanley. Again, extensive crowns. Getting into the fishhook drainage behind Redfish. This photo is interesting because we have crowns and obviously wind-loaded terrain. But if you come down into the foreground, you can also see a slide that released in sheltered mid-elevation terrain. So looking back at how the avalanche danger changed during the storm. So on December 20th, the danger bumped up in anticipation of a storm. December 21st, the danger went up to high with an avalanche warning in place. And we've been at considerable until today on Christmas, the avalanche danger is starting to come down. So as the avalanche danger decreases from, sort of that initial loading event when the avalanche danger spiked, because it's kind of a dangerous time as folks start to experiment with getting into steeper terrain and start to think that things are stabilizing. So let's take a look at what's next for the upcoming weekend. We have snowfall in the forecast starting tonight through tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. At this point, it looks like 4 to 8 inches of new snow are expected. Could see even more than that in some of the favored spots. A little bit hard to see here on this photo, but here's Haley, Sun Valley, the road over Galena Summit into Stanley. The storm is coming out of the southwest, so it's going to favor the soldiers and especially the Sawtooths and Banner Summit area. Temps look to be relatively cold with the storm compared to the last one that was so warm and wet, and looks like we'll also have some moderate southwest winds. So what does this mean for the avalanche danger going into the weekend? Starting with our northern zones in the Sawtooths and Western Smokies and the Banner Summit area, the danger is likely going to increase. The slides may not be easy to trigger, and the reason for that is as the slab gets thicker, it's becoming harder to trigger those. They're not quite as touchy and reactive, but imagine triggering this, you're going to have a pretty dangerous large avalanche. In our southern zones, in the Galena Summit and Eastern Mountains and the Soldiers and Wood River Valley, this photo was taken yesterday on Galena Summit. We have 12-inch thick slab. It's starting to consolidate from the load and the warm temps. We still just quite haven't reached the point where we have enough slab for widespread instability in those zones. But we are teetering close to the brink there. When we have the slow incremental loading, when we're just putting on 6 inches, 8 inches, maybe a little bit of wind loading, it's really hard to predict when this this when we're going to get that straw that breaks the camel's back. Is it going to be it this weekend? Hard to say at this point. So the best course of action is just be ready to step back with each time we get a new load from snowfall and wind. So in a nutshell, heading into the weekend, due to the snowfall and wind that's expected tonight through Saturday, expect increasing danger, and as a result, plan to choose more conservative terrain. So thanks for watching. Hope you found this useful. And thank you so much for all the observations that have been coming in. We've been getting a ton of those, and those are super helpful to us. They help to increase the accuracy of the forecast. So please keep those coming in. If you haven't submitted an observation before, you can do that on our website at sawtoothavalanche.com. You can keep it private if you like, and but that information really helps us be more accurate with this avalanche forecast, which helps the whole backcountry community. So from all of us at the Sawtooth Avalanche Center, we wish you happy holidays and have a great weekend.